you just mentioned Taylor and how much she's gotten girls into the sport and dads and daughters together, which that's one of the coolest things I get when people talk about Taylor and Travis and hearing from dads or hearing from daughters about that.
When it comes to Taylor and Travis, the plot never stops thickening. First up, Jason Kelce is calling their romance the coolest thing he's ever watched unfold. And then Travis starts dropping hints about spending Christmas with Taylor, even with a Broncos showdown on the schedule.
I get to have everybody come through to Kansas City. Christmas in KC this year, so it'll be a good time.
Next up, their wedding venue gets revealed, complete with a full-blown makeover inspired by his proposal. And then Travis casually flexes a rainbow Rolex worth a small fortune. Meanwhile, Maya Thompson breaks her silence after Tatiana Schlossberg's cancer reveal. And finally, experts warn Taylor is a sitting duck for a wedding heist. Apparently, the real NFL pipeline for the next generation isn't coming from college programs or scouting departments. It's coming from Taylor Swift showing up in a luxury suite with a Chiefs jacket and a red lip. And honestly, Jason Kelce is absolutely here for it. He's been watching this Taylor-Travis love story unfold like the rest of the planet, but for him, the coolest part isn't the memes, the sideline shots, or Travis pretending he's not blushing every time Taylor shows up. Nope, Jason's losing it over how many little girls have suddenly decided football is their new personality trait. He's got 4 daughters himself, so the man knows the power of a tiny Swiftie who just discovered what a tight end is. On the latest episode of his and Travis's podcast, he chatted with Thompson and Aaron Andrews about the unexpected cultural takeover happening every Sunday. Charissa pointed out how wild it is that girls who previously thought Red Zone was a lipstick shade are now glued to the TV because Taylor's in the building. And when that happens, suddenly dads around the world are like, oh my gosh, we have something to bond over that isn't glitter, dolls, or a princess movie I've memorized against my will.
Like those little girls that maybe didn't have an interest in football and then sit down because it's her, like that, the commercials and the different like little videos that you see that now all of a sudden the dads have a bond with their daughter over her, like is so special. Like Taylor's impact cannot be overlooked.
Jason basically said those messages from families hit him right in the dad feels. Travis just nodded along like, yeah, my fiance did that, because honestly he knows the ripple effect is huge.
I think also you just mentioned Taylor and how much she's gotten girls into the sport and dads and daughters together, which that's one of the coolest things I get when people talk about Taylor and Travis and hearing from dads or hearing from daughters about that. It's an awesome thing.
Even Patrick Mahomes has been talking about it. Apparently little Sterling, who used to be mildly interested in football at best, is now locked in because Taylor is basically the NFL's unofficial fairy godmother. Patrick said having her at games has been a game changer, not just for the hype, but for spotlighting the sport to young girls who never gave it a second thought before. And speaking of Taylor basically being the NFL's secret marketing weapon, Travis is tossing little Christmas hints like he's auditioning to be the league's official festive elf. The man's got a whole Christmas Day game against the Broncos breathing down his neck, but still can't help teasing that this holiday season might involve more than playbooks and post-game ice baths. His plans might just feature a certain global pop superstar, because apparently Travis is determined to multitask like a dad trying to assemble toys at 3 a.m. During a recent chat, he dropped a comment about needing to plan something, win or lose, chaos or victory, sleigh bells or sideline heaters, which immediately sent fans spiraling into detective mode.
I get to have everybody come through to Kansas City. Christmas in KC this year, so it'll be a good time.
Suddenly everyone's convinced he's plotting a festive surprise, a cozy moment, or at least a stocking that doesn't involve athletic tape. It's all very NFL tight end tries to balance holiday romance and violent football game energy. The twist? That game on December 25th isn't just any matchup. It's the kind of scheduling headache that makes players pick between family dinners and film sessions. For a guy with 13 seasons under his belt, holidays spent in helmets aren't new, but the fact that he's openly acknowledging holiday plans at all has people raising eyebrows. Apparently, even in the middle of a playoff scramble, the man is thinking about more than blitz packages. Observers are reading into this hard, saying it's another sign that Travis is blending his personal and professional world like he's mixing a protein shake. And honestly, with the spotlight these two pull, one vague festive comment is enough to fuel 3 weeks of speculation. Some even think it's part strategic brand building, part genuine holiday warmth. Classic Travis, the guy who'd probably try to pull off a romantic gesture during a 2-minute drill.
I think I have a blast going outside and just playing the game I love on a day like that, when I know everybody's enjoying their families together.
And speaking of romantic gestures, these two are now going full rom-com mode with their wedding plans, minus the cheesy soundtrack and plus a multi-million-dollar budget. Taylor and Travis have finally locked in their dream wedding venue, and shocker, they're not dragging guests across the world for some Tuscan fantasy. They're keeping it close to home. Instead of Italy, they're turning Taylor's Rhode Island mansion into a full-blown wonderland that sounds like it could make a Disney princess pack her bags and retire. The whole place is getting a mega makeover, like HGTV, but with unlimited money and zero budget constraints. Apparently, Taylor wants the whole property transformed into a floral explosion that nods back to the garden where Travis popped the question earlier this year. Think orchids in every shade, hydrangeas doing the most, peonies that might need their own security detail, basically a flower shop on steroids. Taylor is going for a wave of flowers vibe, which sounds like the kind of thing only she could pull off without it turning into a pollen disaster. And Travis? He's calling the wedding planning awesome, acting like he isn't also preparing to get steamrolled by an avalanche of flower charts, sample boards, and linen swatches. He's been telling people he still gets all giddy talking about spending forever with Taylor, which honestly is adorable and also very on-brand for someone who's built like a tank, but talks about love like he's in a YA novel. Meanwhile, the man is also stunting like he's just unlocked the Flex Harder achievement, because Travis showed up to Arrowhead looking like he accidentally wandered out of a music video with a $500,000 strapped to his wrist. Yep, while the rest of us are trying to make our smartwatches survive another software update, Travis is casually rocking a Rolex Daytona Rainbow, the kind of watch that makes other watches feel insecure. It's the rose gold version with a pave diamond face and 36 sapphires arranged in a literal rainbow gradient. Basically, his wrist is doing Pride Month, the Met Gala, and a fireworks show at the same time. The thing is so rare it might as well require a treasure map and a password from a dragon just to buy it. On the resale market, it goes for around $500,000, which means Travis walked into the stadium wearing the cost of a house on his arm to play football. Just normal rich athlete behavior. But what really sells the look is that he paired this luxury masterpiece with a vintage Nike tracksuit, Jordans, and a '97 NBA All-Star cap like he woke up and said, "Yeah, let's mix millionaire energy with nostalgic uncle at a cookout." And weirdly, it works. This man could wear a trash bag, and people would be like, wow, futuristic, bold, revolutionary. The Everrose Rainbow model is a favorite among elite collectors. Drake has one, Harry Kane has one, Patrick Mahomes has his own flavor. But Travis wearing it hits different because he's not just collecting watches, he's collecting headlines. And honestly, it makes sense. If you're engaged to the world's biggest pop star, planning a wedding that costs more than small countries, and playing primetime football every week, subtlety is no longer an option. And speaking of headline-grabbing moments, Taylor's world takes a sharp left turn from blingy wrist flexing to something far heavier, because the universe really said, here, feel this in your soul. Taylor Swift's Ronan family is back in the spotlight, and this time it's Maya Thompson, Ronan's mom, opening up after journalist Tatiana Schlossberg revealed she's battling acute myeloid leukemia. It's one of those moments where the internet collectively stops scrolling and just breathes for a second. Schlossberg, who shared her diagnosis in a raw, gut-punching essay, unintentionally pulled Maya right back into memories she's carried for years. And when Maya says it brought her straight back to those hospital nights, you can practically feel the fluorescent lights and the quiet fear she once lived in. She talked about that strange emotional cocktail, hope and terror sitting in the same room like they're awkwardly trying to share a chair. It's the kind of vulnerability she knows too well, the kind that never really leaves you even when the world thinks you've moved on. Maya described Schlossberg's writing as something that cracked open an old door, not in a traumatic way, but in a deeply human I see you kind of way. She said the story reminded her of that fragile thread life hangs on, the one you suddenly notice only when someone else is clutching it. And then there's Ronan, always there, always part of the story. The bond between Maya and Taylor didn't fade with time or fame or anything else life threw at them. That song, crafted from Maya's own words, became a permanent link between them. They still keep in touch, and Maya continues honoring her son through her foundation, turning heartbreak into something that helps others breathe a little easier. And just when you think the emotional roller coaster couldn't swerve any harder, the story whiplashes straight into full-on Hollywood thriller mode, with Taylor getting labeled a sitting duck, like she's suddenly the lead character in Ocean's 14: The Swift Heist. Experts are sounding alarms like she's walking around wearing a map that says, "Rob me, please." Apparently the combo of her glittery jewelry collection and the fact that the entire world knows her schedule down to the minute has security specialists sweating harder than Travis in a fourth-quarter 2-minute drill. Taylor's bedazzled accessories are basically screaming, "Come get me," which, rude, but not entirely wrong. Take that night out at the Polo Bar. She tried to blend in wearing all black, but the diamonds were shining brighter than a stadium jumbotron. A necklace worth more than some people's cars? Check. An engagement ring that could blind a small village? Absolutely. Even her Louis Vuitton ring could probably pay someone's rent for half a year. Security folks are drawing comparisons to the Kim K. Paris heist, saying crime rings today run like actual corporations, studying flight logs, dinner spots, and even her security rotation like they're prepping for finals week. One former bodyguard went full doomsday mode, warning that the wedding could be chaos waiting to happen, with A-list guests, pricey gifts, and Taylor dripping in jewelry like she's auditioning to play the world's fanciest lighthouse. That's all for this video, folks. We'll see you next time.